my name is Sully and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing a very exciting video in which I will be reading Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldree at coffee shops. So I 100% got this idea from my friend Jade over at Jade Juniper, in which Jade went to a bunch of coffee shops in Japan and read this book exclusively in coffee shops. Sounded like a lovely time. I highly recommend Jade's video. I'll link it down below. And I've been meaning to read this book for some time, and I figured that that was the perfect entry point to it. So let's read it.
Side by side we sway there in all the colors. Summer love, lonesome love, folded on the lawn chair in all the colors. Summer stop giving back. Honeysuckle, fresh cut grass. I could really use some stuff like that.
Hello, it is the weekend once again, and it is time to keep reading Legends and Lattes. So I realized that I have not updated on my reading progress yet, which is wild because I am now on page 135. I've had two of these weekend coffee shop reading dates with myself, and so far I'm really enjoying it. I actually started this on ebook from a library loan from Libby, I think like a year or two ago, and I only read, I think it was like the prologue, and I wasn't sure if it was really my vibe. But I've seen so many positive reviews, I decided to give it a full shot, and I picked up the book and I've really been enjoying it. Once it got past the prologue, I really started enjoying it, honestly. So just goes to show, some books need a little bit more time to warm up. But I love how this book tackles cozy fantasy. I was afraid it would be boring. It's not. It is just a lower stakes story, but there are still stakes. There's still exciting stuff that's happening with this coffee shop that's being run, and I'm excited to see where it goes. I'm like halfway, so I feel like we can make some good progress today with some coffee, so let's go.
Talk to me and tell me all that you've seen, all the colors. Summer love,
I finished Legends and Lattes. It's been a couple of weeks, but I finished it. I went to the coffee shop a couple of times, and I actually read it in like 3 or 4 sessions. I'm not even sure, but it's been a couple of weeks of me reading this, and I want to talk about it. So it was actually quite a bit shorter than I was expecting. It's less than 300 pages, which I didn't even know from the get-go until I got a physical copy. Also, this is the new exclusive edition. I got it at Barnes & Noble, but I also recently got the sequel, and this one I got at Book Outlet. Highly recommend Book Outlet if you've never used it before. It's an online bookstore where you can get majorly discounted books, and they're basically like the overstock from bookstores that are no longer going to be selling them, that bought too many copies, editions that were going to go to a library but then didn't. And then most of the time, you can't really see it because it has stenciled edges, but there's like a little black dot, but most of them will have a little black Sharpie dot somewhere on the pages that you can see, and that just notes that it was overstock at whatever retailer was going to sell it, and then ended up just selling it to book outlets to be sold at a discounted price. So if that's an issue for you, just know that going into book outlet, they'll all have a little black Sharpie dot on the pages. But anyways, I just got the sequel. So let's talk about the first one first. So I really enjoyed this story. I wasn't sure how I would feel about it going in. Obviously, a lot of people talk about cozy fantasy these days. It's been a really big breakthrough genre in the last 2 years. This book especially went really big because it had a lot of initial advertising on Instagram, I think, and a lot of people picked it up. I saw the initial Instagram advertisements and clicked on it but didn't end up reading it at that time. Then a lot of people started reading it, and here we are today. So I heard a lot of people talk about how it's cozy fantasy, it's slower. I was a little bit nervous going in. I do enjoy cozy fantasy, or what was cozy fantasy like before it became its own subgenre. But a lot of people also said like it definitely is slow, just know that going in. And honestly, it wasn't really slow for me. There were still stakes. There were still plot and things that the main characters were working towards. It just wasn't your typical fantasy, revolution, war, turmoil, all of those things. It was more focused on the smaller things associated with opening a business and moving to a new part of town and rubbing some people the wrong way and finding yourself and finding a new passion in life. And it felt like it was more of those contemporary things that you would read in other fiction, but then just pressed onto a fantasy world. Also really reminded me of Dungeons and Dragons. I have personally never really played Dungeons and Dragons. I really want to. I've been trying to find a team for some time, but I do listen to the Adventure Zone podcast, as well as read the graphic novel series, and I watched Dimension 20 on dropout.tv, all of which are Dungeons and Dragons media. So love Dungeons and Dragons, and what I really enjoy about it is that you can have more of these mundane things involved in a fantasy world. For instance, in the Adventure Zone, they go to Fantasy Costco, and it's those kinds of things that just make it feel more real and grounded to me and more fun. And that's what this book was. It was lovely. It was a nice departure from the world. I loved reading it while drinking coffee, especially because in this story the main character opens up a coffee shop, and it was just lovely sitting at a coffee shop drinking some coffee while they're talking about bringing lattes to this fantasy medieval town that has never experienced a latte before. So I love this. This is pretty much a 4-star read for me, maybe like a 3.5 if I'm being more subjective, but objectively it was a great book. And with that being said, Bookshops and Bone Dust, I got this for $5 off Book Outlet. This is in no way sponsored or anything. I just love using Book Outlet, and you should too. But this one is a little bit longer. It's like 320 pages. This is, I said sequel earlier, but I think it's actually a prequel, and it takes place before the events of Legends and Lattes, and it's when our main character takes a break from adventuring. And I thought I could continue this idea of reading in coffee shops, but I really want to read it in bookstores since this one's called Bookshops and Bone Dust. I just need to figure out what bookstores near me I can bring a book in and read in without them thinking that, you know, I am taking one of their books and then leaving with it without paying for it at the end. You know what I mean? So I'm going to try to identify some bookstores Otherwise, maybe some libraries, and otherwise I will go back to coffee shops. So if you're interested in that, I will do that at some point, hopefully soon. I have some couple busy months coming up, so it'll probably be more of a fall time vlog. But stick around, subscribe, like this video if you enjoyed it, and make sure to hit that bell notification so that you're notified the next time I upload a video, and we'll be uploading that one at some point in the future. If you've made it this far in the video, please comment down below what your favorite coffee order is, or if you don't want to do that, you can just comment a coffee cup emoji. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!